Yes, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. We are back. Today, I decided to hold off on the music and save it for the introduction. I'm trying new things here at the Pod is Good podcast. I'm trying new things, trying to get this whole introduction right, this whole lead in to the show. And I'm working on it. So we're going to try something new today. I have a guest that I'm very, very excited about today. Um, One of my local legends. So I figured I'd do something a little different. So, y'all gotta wait for the music. You know what I'm saying? You gotta wait for the music. Um, what's going on? Sometimes it feels a little weird not being able to see anybody just yet. But how are y'all feeling? How's life treating you? How is the world today? You know what I'm saying? How did you watch the news? Did it make you feel terrible? That's why I don't watch it. I don't watch the news often because unless I just feel like I need to know something, but for the most part, usually just breaks my heart. Usually just breaks my heart. I apologize. Hold on. Welcome back to the Pod is Good podcast. Pod is good and all the time. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're going to learn today. Welcome back. This is episode 15. Episode 15 of the Pod is Good podcast. I am your man, Cashmere, California. Welcome. Simply welcome. No matter what you're doing or where you're at and what time of the year or time of life you're in, welcome. Thank you for joining. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. And to show you my appreciation, I try to bring you the best that I possibly can. The best of the best. I know a lot of people. I've been in a lot of places. I've lived in a lot of places. But I only bring you the best. Because I'm going to keep it real. Not everybody that I met was the best. If you know what I mean. They're not all winners, as they say. but the ones that I've chosen, the chosen few are chosen for a reason. They are chosen for a reason. Please, anybody who wants to join in the chat, get in the chat. If you're watching live, I will be responding to everyone in the chat, having my guests respond in the chat. And in the future, we might have a little panel discussions and whatnot where other people can join in and we can have like just a full out Q&A. Matter of fact, I was thinking about doing that, having like an episode called Ask Cash. Because I get that a lot. Like in my life, I feel like I get a lot of, what are your thoughts on this? I was thinking about this, what do you think? And I was like, you know what? That's something I like to explore more. I love listening. I love hearing other people's problems. I love trying to dialogue with people and figure things out. And so I feel like that is an episode that we'll do coming up very soon in the future. So stay tuned to that because we got a lot coming. But my guest just arrived in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you know him, especially if you know me, because that means you might just be from the Bay Area. And no matter where you live in the world, we all know you have your local legends, right? You got those people that when you were younger, you saw them doing things that maybe you didn't even understand yet. You didn't understand the level in which they were operating on because you were just too young. But even in that lack of understanding, you were still being taught something, right? Something was still being passed down to you. That's what a legend is about. You don't have to see everybody that he or she touches. They just got to continue to do the work, continue to show up, and know that their mark is important. This next guest of mine is nothing but that. Nothing but that. I told y'all I'm gonna play the music when he comes on. So This is a shout out to the Bay Area. Uh, hey Google, play E40 Bay Area. You know we gotta. She know. It says she know. She know. What's that? Hold on. Hold on. What's okay? Oh, the samples be crazy. The samples be crazy. If y'all don't know about this Bay Area sound, we still trying to teach you. You know, even my legends here paying homage. Paying homage. That's not what I wanted though. That's not what I wanted. That's not. No, that's you messed up. Siri, somebody take Siri out back and do something to her. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, to the studio, my friend, a local legend, an entrepreneur, one of the first black business owners that I knew. The man, the myth, the legend, the 707 cat. Give it up for my guy, Chauncey Banks.
Yee!
What's good,
What's up?
family?
What's up, young James? You were saying it all right there.
You know what I'm saying? I had to throw it on for him. I had to throw it on.
Yes, yeah. I
How you
appreciate that introduction, man. It's every point of it is on point. Hard work, no play.
respect?
Uh, First to bring it out, the little hip hop store.
Yep.
And the introduction, it was beautiful, man. It just, after 26 years, I brought it back and a couple of years ago from 20 years. So, man, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
No
Yes, sir.
doubt. No
Yes,
doubt.
sir.
We're gonna get into
Mm-hmm.
all of it. We're gonna get into all of it. So one thing that I don't know that
Mm-hmm.
I've never, because I met you so young. You know what I'm saying? You my
Right.
dad's friend. So it's like I know you, I hang with you, I get your sense of humor. You was always a cool guy, but because I was so young, I don't think I knew your origin story. So let's talk a little bit about your story. First, I want to know because I know about. We'll get into the politician side of you and the
Right.
entrepreneur side of you, and we'll get into that. But
No problem.
what was Chauncey's first dream? What did you want to be first?
First dream, it goes back, 10, 11 years old. I wanted a candy store, to be honest with you. One of the little candy store. It
Mm,
just, just to give you my age, I'll be 57, August 30th, so I'll be 57. So when we
respect. Don't look
taking it
it.
back, I'm thinking a dream of in the 70s, I wanted a candy store. And so when that happened, that's what first started right there to answer that question. Wanted a candy
And
store.
and do you remember around how old you were when you wanted this candy store?
It was could have been 19 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
So at
19
19,
years
you
old.
already entrepreneurial minded.
Yes, I did. It was went out to our family took us out to Louisiana. That's where my family's from. We here
Okay.
in Fairfield because my father was stationed at Travis Air Force Base here in
Yes,
Fairfield.
sir.
And
Yes,
so they
sir.
wanted to take us back to the roots. So we Baton Rouge, and then when we went out to the Baton Rouge, and then my grandfather's house in New Orleans, he had an ice cream truck. And then not only that, what I
Hmm.
seen, what blew my mind was it was in each home. One had a candy store. You don't have to go to the store; they just had it on the block, and they had like ice cream, candy, sandwich before the Subway sandwiches. And
Yep.
so
Yep.
that was big, and that's what blew my mind to see how they was doing things. And so, that's
That's
pretty much
crazy.
what it all started from. So
That
that's when I
that's
felt like, yeah, entrepreneur right there.
no. It's funny you say that because in
Mm-hmm.
Missouri, it was kind of the same thing. Like you
Mm-hmm.
had stores, but then you also had that person's house that they
Mm-hmm.
had chips and candies and this
Yeah,
and that stuff that people in the local area that maybe didn't drive or couldn't make it to the store, they can just head a few blocks or a few houses down,
right.
go get what you
Yeah,
need. I never even
you know.
thought about the fact that that
Mm-hmm.
might have influenced mine as well. Because I saw that at an early age. I remember my granddad going to buy candy at the stores for super cheap and then selling it, and that's
Right,
crazy. So it
right.
started with a candy store.
Started with a candy store, and so from that, it was that. I lived that journey for a candy store all my life.
Mm,
What twisted it, it was that again, like in the '70s, my parents they had the wasn't no rec center or any of those other different things. The parties was always in someone's neighborhood in the living room. And
yeah,
so when
yeah.
that party was something else, and then we had babysitters, and the babysitters had to keep us in the room. But my one of my older cousins, he was like he was babysitting. He wanted me to go sneak and go sneak some alcohol for him because he was a little bit older. And so yeah, so of
Of
course
course.
me, yeah, of course me, I'm the young one. I had to crawl on the ground, so I started crawling to the living room, and then I turned my head. They was doing this crazy dance. It was like, man, what are they doing? And they was doing the funky chicken. Let's just say it like that. And so
Ah,
yeah, they was doing the funky chicken. Rufus Thomas, that's where the name come from for the business. My
it's
business, funky chicken. So
so it
so when they
started
was
there.
started, but with
That's
still the same
crazy.
thought with the candy store. That's the
Yeah.
beauty about it.
Now, was it
And
gonna
so
be the
what?
funky chicken candy store?
No, no, no. What flipped it is that I got in trouble. I got busted.
Mm,
And then and when they was doing that dance, I love records. Nothing but vinyls back then. 8 tracks and vinyls. And so
yep.
I was saying to myself, you know what? When I get older, I'm gonna open up a store, a record store. See, that's how in that early thrive into it. You'll say record store, not hip hop. I'm opening up a record store.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so that's what happened. And then we're going all the way back to as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, I had the opportunity to open the doors like in 1989, and went from a record store to a hip hop store. So that was
Wow.
my journey from that. Yeah, and
Wow. Okay.
from that it was and we'll collaborate on it because I know that's the foundation of everything. Living in Oakland at my grandmother's house, I lived across the street from Eastmont Mall in East Oakland, deep East Oakland. So I was back and forth from Fairfield to Oakland and
Mm,
seen record stores, and that's really where the journey came from. Just looking at the tapes and records up in that back in the day. So that's where it came from. That's where it went from a candy store to really a hip hop
sure.
store.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
'89.
Yep.
So
89.
'89, you open your first store. So tell me a little bit about that because I know for a black man trying to open a business, trying to get your own
Mm-hmm.
facility, trying to get funding, getting brands,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the journey you went through.
Mm-hmm.
How tough was that? Or tell me a little bit about opening that first joint.
Tough journey, but not so tough. We have more in our backyard of some legends, and so it all started. Lightweight, just stupid stuff. Just ended up just being in the county jail, and then it
Yeah.
was just being in the county jail. I mean, nothing ruthless. Didn't have no ruthless because I tell the youngsters there's the difference between where I'm at today and where a lot of people at, whether they locked up or gone. I didn't have peer pressure because back in the '70s and stuff like that, living in Oakland, also at my grandma's house, you seen the dope dealers, you seen the prostitutes. Even before that, when the cocaine hit, and
Wow.
from some of these legends, they shown them on Netflix and all that. It went from the older cats that's really like 80 years old that still made it through that in the gangster age, the mafia age, they made it through that
Yeah.
to still be alive to tell the story. And then below that, you had was Denzel Washington. He played that movie with American Gangster,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it went through that era. So I was still young in that area, but
Right.
I wasn't really around in that era. My era comes from Paid in Full. So you have the mafia snitching, then you have the from the American Gangster. They was getting caught up, not saying anything, and then the youngsters, my era. So that era, that's when the '80s hit. You really
Mm,
seen that in the streets. So like I
yeah.
tell everybody, if you ever listen, tell your kids, talk to them, and if you see a friend with a kid, you tell them, don't have peer pressure, have parent pressure. So
Yeah.
we had parent pressures. We had to be in before the lights was on. But I
Absolutely. Yeah.
was, but I was, and I'm just saying that story because I wasn't in jail with no dumb stuff, no beating up on nobody, no stealing and stuff like that. It was just Honestly, I don't even know, but it helped me out. I really don't. But probably did a little something, I don't know. But I was in there, but I continued to be institutionalized. I kept going up in there. Then my
Mm,
uncle said, "Man, you love this." I said, "I don't love this." He said, "Look around, you love this." I said, "I don't love this no more." So
mm.
it was another little homie named Earl. I just seen Earl. He came to the store like a month ago, and I ain't seen him since I opened the store. But I promised him when I got out that jail, I was going to open up my hip hop store, and that's what it
Nice.
all started. And so when I got out,
Nice.
I'm gonna tell you where I went. I went straight out of there. My boy Mike Mosley, producer,
I remember
super
Mike
duper
Mosley.
producer.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mike Mosley. He produced
absolutely.
some of the songs, and so these are the guys under my wings. Mike came up under my wings as a DJ because I was a DJ, so I always let him use my equipment. But Mike was the one to say, "You're gonna stop mixing and stop doing all that, playing other people's records." So
Mm,
we just bought up a little recording studio, just in-house recording studio, and that's where that started at. So I give a lot
fire.
of credit to Mike. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was hanging with Mike. And
fire.
so the ups and downs was that part, from the jail, like don't love this no more, don't love the food. I call that the look of love. The ones that's still in there, they must love it. I don't love that stuff, so it's a look of
Man,
love.
that is such
Hmm.
a pivotal point, and that
Hmm.
line, you love this.
Hmm. I love this.
Someone could have put it in so many
Hmm.
terms that
Hmm.
maybe didn't catapult you in a different direction like that. But the fact
Hmm.
that your uncle just said, "You love this. Look around,
Yeah, look
look around."
around.
Like you ain't
Yeah,
gotta take my word for it. You love this.
I, and you get a vision of it because when you sit down and the visitors come see you in the background, from his view. See, I had my back turned. He's sitting
Yeah,
eating, playing dominoes and all that. Like it's fun in there. And when I turned
right.
around, that's when I said, I don't love this. I don't love this. And then, in the positive way of saying the look of love is when you look at your kids, even as a father, the father, on one point, when you look at your parents, your mother, and your surroundings, you don't have to say nothing. Your wife, you don't have to say nothing. You can just look at them. They know you love them. Just
They
look
know
at
it.
them.
That's right.
Even when your kids act up, they know they're in trouble. They just got to look at their dad like,
You gotta
oops,
look at
what I'm saying?
them.
So I call that the look of love too. So I got two
Yeah,
sides of it. So that's the beauty of it.
that's awesome,
So
man. Shout
yeah,
out to Uncle. Shout out to
yes,
Uncle
yeah.
because Uncle must have
Uncle
he
Donald Ray, yes.
he
Yeah.
must have knew something about you
Hmm.
because our elders, we still growing up, we still trying to come of age, but they done
Hmm.
watched you. So
Right.
when they see you at a certain phase in your life, he probably knew how to say and what to say to you in that moment to like get through to
Yeah.
you. He's already visiting you. So it ain't like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
showing you love. So you can't really be
Right.
mad at him for it because hey, I'm here.
That's right.
but,
Yeah.
but but he knew what to say to transform you. It sounds like
He
that really
did.
transformed things.
He really did. He really
Wow.
did. It was the biggest change in my life.
Wow.
Just saying the love of it. Even when you just thought about the food and all that. They tell you all the stories just being locked up, especially when they initiate you. I don't want to get too nasty on the cast, but they'd be like, "Oh, don't eat the food." They done rub their butt on it and all this different stuff.
Oh
So you'll
man.
go in there with that thought. You
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
eat. Then you find out you starving. You're like, I'm starving, man. You gonna eat it no matter what. You gonna eat. So, that's just the
You're right.
twist
You
of
got
it.
it.
So
And what you gonna do?
scares. Yeah, what you gonna do?
What
What
you
you
gonna
gonna
do?
do? So that from that foundation it was just beautiful just to have what I was thinking of as a kid, and it took just in and out of jail. It was too easy to sit up in there. It was just I'm in and out. It's just too easy. But just for to come up in there because really I didn't even want no visitors. It made me feel like I want to get out when you get up in there, you get comfortable.
Yeah.
So from that point, when I got out, I went straight to one and only Mike Mosley produced "Sprinkle Me" for E40. He is the
That's
mob sound of the Bay Area. I
right.
mean, a lot of hits. Tupac, Mike did his thing, and so
Oh yeah.
any rappers that came out in that era with the mob music, Mike had his hand on it from
That's
Celly
true.
Cell, E40,
Facts.
Be Legit. I mean, in each city, Richmond, Oakland, San Francisco, Sacramento. He touched on Pittsburgh. He touched on every area code in the Bay,
Yeah.
and so I was always around him. And then from that, it went. And again, I'm gonna get to the nucleus of it. From that, That's where I hung at. I hung at the studio. You
Hmm.
know,
And did you
uh,
produce?
I used to,
I
but
know you DJ'd.
yeah, I DJ, but I
Yeah.
producing. Problem with producing is you got to sit in there all day. You can't
All
sit
day.
down all day.
All day.
I mean, I'm in the studio with celebrities with Mike, and I can't sit down. I got to move, and that's a key point. That's a key point with being
That's
with
the
Mike in the
key point.
studio.
Yeah.
Man, I couldn't in the song, especially when he's 40. When we have 40, he takes so long to write, but he had perfected. But I like, man, what we gonna do? Who gonna order a pizza? You just have to move around. So
Mm.
we ended up being in LA, and in that era, Mike always, we always just got on the plane and say, let's record here. Different areas brought a different sound of how Mike was vibing. So
Right.
for me to be back and forth on the plane in different studios with Mike Moley from Oakland, San Francisco to Los Angeles, it opened the doors. It just opened up the side of my mind to where I'm gonna put what I seen in Oakland for a hip hop store,
Right.
to what I'm gonna bring to Fairfield, because as you know, Oakland is different from Fairfield.
Oh man.
It
Night and
wasn't night and day. You was not gonna get the kids to drive down to Oakland to go get the music, because we lived in an area where you got Napa, Backup Hills, Santa Rosas, it just the kids were looking at the MTV, they heard the music and seen the clothes, but they wasn't gonna step in the jungle to go get it. So
right. No, that was a
that
fact.
that I was raised out there, I was able to come back out that way, and
Yeah.
bring the products that back to Fairfield. And so that's a beautiful picture right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Moby himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Just want to show them Mike. For
Uh-huh.
anybody listening on the audio version of the podcast, I just pulled up a video. I mean, a
Hmm.
photo of Mike and Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav. Yes, yes.
There's Mike and what's his name? Old boy from
Sacramento. I'm trying to see.
no, that's old boy from from the Wood.
Oh yeah. Because Mike do movie productions also. So he got some
Yeah.
stuff out there. Yeah,
I'm mad I can't
yeah,
think of his name. Um.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Mike a legend.
Mike a legend.
Mike a legend.
Mike built he built pretty much the concept of do it yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, DIY, do it yourself. If
But
he could do it, he showed us.
what's crazy is that the Bay Area is so good for that and so understated in their
Hmm.
ability to do it themselves. And I was
Hmm.
just talking to who was I telling this to? Javance.
Oh
One of
yeah,
my
yeah. Keyboardist.
yeah, man. Javance was on
Hmm.
the other show, and I was telling him as a young guy, because I was a lyricist at an early age, I was already like tuned in sonically to East
Hmm.
Coast because they had rappers, they had lyricists, like they had
Yeah.
the guys that they did things with words that I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to
Hmm.
do. I didn't
Hmm.
really listen to a lot of Bay Area music, so
Right.
the rappers in Bay Area like the San Quins and the Clicks and the
Right.
D Shot, Be Legit, like all
Hmm.
it was too simple for me
Right.
at the time. And so I think that because, as you know, with hip hop, the MC is the in the forefront.
Yes, it is.
Oftentimes you like the MC, then you'll like the music, and then you'll like the fashion, then you'll
Hmm.
like the dancer, then you'll like the D, you know what I'm saying? Like it kind of
Yes.
filters
Yes.
its way through. So when you don't like the MC, you kind of
Hmm.
don't care about everything else. So it took me until I was really an adult to actually get an appreciation for
Right.
the Bay Area having its own sound, the Bay Area putting out its own stuff, the Bay Area never really being like a big major artist. I mean, not major artist, major label area.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people know
Hmm.
about these names. You know about the Two Shorts, you know about the Mac Dre's, you know about 40, Federation, like these names, but
Right. Hmm.
it's never been entrenched with like major label funding. It was just people that figured out a way to do it on their own.
Yes, exactly. You hit the spot on that, because when you think of New York, that's how I first heard it in 1979. The Rapper's Delight, and
Yeah.
the word when it comes to New York is hip hop, and they They was writers. They was just educated rappers. It was the vocabulary, the dictionary was just a beautiful rhythm and rhyme to listen to.
Yeah, it was different.
And just with the DJ style. That's where I picked up on it, just on the turntables. Just going back and forth with the instrumentals.
Yeah,
And they were just busting freestyles, and you hit it. From the Bay Area. It wasn't really a sound from the Bay Area, and that's when we're gonna get to who really brought the sound. I mean, one was Mike Mosley, but it didn't spread out there because of
yeah,
the mob sound. It was. I really don't know how it really got out there, but for Mike, Mike was growing, and I used to talk to Mike, and I said, you need to try to do some radio hits. Stop having these rappers. I always say stop having to cook on the record. They was always talking about
mm,
cooking dope. Stop talking. Yeah, don't put your
yeah,
music out there. It's time to get those royalties.
yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Hmm.
That's big boy
Yeah,
talk right there.
yeah, it is. But that changed. That changed. Things have never changed. That was one of the ones I have helped brought that to the table for 40 and with Femi. That's some other
Mm,
names of the other production.
yes,
Mike
sir.
also had Sam Bostic, in here. So a lot of those things, and skipping up to being in the Funky Chicken store, to go back into the storyline of it is that being out there with Mike Mosley, I just didn't like sitting in the studio. So we'd be at these big record labels, and I'll just wiggle around, and they would give me a poster, right? I'm like, oh, okay, and I would always just collect the posters, and I bring it back to Fairfield. And
Huh.
then at one point, it was people I was just giving them out, and everybody kept saying, where'd you get that poster from? Because posters, back in the days was still good in your bedroom. Let's put posters up there.
Oh
This
yeah,
rap.
yeah.
They're like, man, where you get this poster at? My boy Carlos Brown, DJ Chaos, he still got a lot of collection of my posters and stuff.
Fire.
When just like you say, other cities that was hitting from definitely New York. New York had the sound with the music. Before I opened my store, just different cities. It was Miami with Two Live Crew and all that. Their
Mm,
music was a little different,
yeah, and then
and so
Atlanta, because around then,
mhm,
Outkast kind of started to come out like early '90s.
mhm.
You
But
had
not
out.
as big though, because
No,
it
no, no,
was
no, no.
every label that was big back then was R&B singers. It was just real R&B music.
That's
And
it.
so that's what it was. The
That's
rap
it.
wasn't really hitting it hard like that. But for New York it was, and in Miami it was. It was just a little different sound.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
what I did was I brought it got crazy. It got really, really crazy. Then Master P, Bay Area, New Orleans guy, lived out in Richmond, California at his grandfather's house, and his grandpa gave him some money pretty much, and he built a little store. So he pretty much had the little store first out there, but he turned
Hmm.
the money into a record label, and that's how that happened.
I
And,
did not know that, and
mm,
that's so
mhm,
funny because every time I bring up examples of an an artist that showed us how to build it yourself, I
mhm,
always go to 40 and
mhm,
P. But I
mhm,
never put P in the Bay. I always put P in Nolans. I never put him
mhm.
in the Bay.
Straight Richmond,
That's
California.
crazy.
And you got to when you say those names,
Wow.
write this name down, because the name that
Wow.
they didn't create the label. It was Solar Music. Solar Music created. That's E40 Uncle, and St. Charles is the name. St. Charles taught them the game. So St. Charles is the diamond of them being independent. Without St. Charles, it wouldn't have happened.
So St.
And so,
Charles taught E40
mhm,
and P?
yep,
What? And that's his
yes,
uncle.
that's E40's uncle. Anytime you hear
Oh, he said it in a
anybody
song.
that St. Charles, I mean Master P said, they both said.
Yeah, now I remember when you
Hmm.
said St. Charles. I'm like, oh yeah.
Hmm. Too Short had his own label, but it wasn't out there. Too Short would come back to the studio showing us a royalty check of $500,000. All he did was curse, and that's what really pumped people up. How you get royalties? Back then it was radio, so when he just come around, he was it's like it blew his mind. Let's just say it like that. I heard they was getting like pennies and nickels on it. Janet Jackson was the one getting the most money in the R&B.
Right, right.
But That's when you talk about the Bay, and when you talk about the business mind behind it, St. Charles. St.
St.
Charles is
Charles.
the Thurman, the Thurman family,
But like,
Thurman.
dude, I've been saying this forever,
Mm,
and you saying it is puts all the puzzle pieces together. I listen to Hope I Don't Go Back like every week,
mm-hmm,
right? Like one
mm-hmm,
of my
mm-hmm,
favorite 40 songs. And
mm-hmm,
just so people know, I'm gonna put it
mm-hmm.
up on the screen. My man
Yeah.
Chauncey is not lying. It
Mm-hmm,
says right here, check it out. Marbles. I got my
mm-hmm.
game from my uncle St.
St.
Charles.
Charles. Yes.
Used to bank
Yes.
across the street at Wells Fargo, but now it's Merrill
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Fire. Just think,
Yes.
I used to sit the bench. St. Charles
St.
gave the
Charles.
game to not
Yes.
only E40,
Mm-hmm.
but also Master P. That is a gem.
E40, Master P, AWOL Records. AWOL had Seaboat. See, I walked it,
I remember
because
AWOL Records.
because they all had to come to my store, and I was more like see, I I can't go back, but what I say this though is now that I see it, I could have managed anybody, but my uncle always told me they was gophers, like go do this and go do that. So I I wasn't built like that. But the
Yeah.
truth of it is, the way it looks now is like everybody's homies. I
Mm,
gave everybody else's jobs. Like we got RJ, he called himself RJ, so he worked out of my store, and I pretty much got him in the doors of the BE40's manager, road manager, but he's the main dude. But that's a little kid. If you remember him, he used to work at my store
yep.
because I was always like, nah, I don't want to do that. But that's really where everything goes. We can always have so many additions of this because anything you'll speak on the Bay, I had the store. I shook the
Oh yeah.
hands. How the
And
music. I mean, you was in there.
I was in there, but
Yes,
again,
you
because I was
was.
so young,
Mm,
my business mind wasn't where it is now, and so
mm,
hearing you say it now, I'm like, well, of course he knows everybody because he's like literally like if there's like a barber shop in Harlem, like if
yeah.
everybody's coming to the barber shop, everybody's going to the only shoe store that has the
Uh,
the the, the the unique shoes that you can't get at Foot Locker. Of course, the
mhm,
owner is going to meet everybody. Of
mhm,
course, it's going to be this
mhm,
congregation of the local elite in that
mhm.
area. Like,
Young elites.
right, young,
Yeah, young. Because I'm just like
young.
I said, I'm 57. I tell everybody, since I came back and opened the doors, I said, well, for sure. Right now I say I'm 57, so everybody's between pretty much between 29 and 42, and they're not even older than
Yeah,
42. Yeah,
yeah. That's a
a
fact.
young generation. I stepped out. I wasn't even, really hip to all the music. I just knew where to get it from.
Yeah.
And so when you take all that, you find that Master P, you put Master P in St. Charles, you get the same story. You Google that, he'll say the same thing. He got it somewhere on there. Master P will always say it.
I love
And
it.
so that's where it
Real
starts at.
real quick, I
Hmm.
didn't go to the chat earlier. People have been chiming in, but
Hmm.
every time it popped up, you were in the middle of telling the story, and I definitely
Oh,
didn't
my
want to
bad.
miss. I no, you good, you good. We can always get to it. They understand.
Hmm.
They watched the show before, so my man Jay Militant is from Fairfield. He was saying, "What's cracking?" You got the OG in the building, so
Hmm.
he
Salute,
knows.
Jay.
He knows.
Yeah, Jay.
Um, you know, all of us went to Funky Chicken. I mean, come on. Come on. Like I said at the beginning, if you grew up in that area, you know this
Yeah.
guest. And then
Hmm.
Mama Wolf's, she was commenting on when you said don't have peer pressure, have parent pressure. She said that's a
Hmm.
gem. I agree with
Hmm.
that, man. I remember you said that
Hmm.
to my son when you saw him, like, yo,
Oh, yeah.
yep, have
Yes.
parent pressure.
Mm.
And that is
Parent.
a big difference. Like, you don't
Mm.
sometimes we're saying the right thing, but
Hmm.
we haven't put it in a very concise, easily digestible way. So
Hmm.
we might say, man, back in the day, this person's parent, they would have called your mom and told them to this, and
Exactly.
you would
Yes.
have, like, we'll say all of that, but we
Hmm.
won't just say have parent pressure. And I think like
Yes.
that puts it in a capsule where someone can just say, oh
And
yeah,
you,
yeah, that's the difference.
yeah, because what it does with that difference is exactly like you say. It was another parent checking us. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But who checks the kids today is another kid checks them, and so
right.
that's where the peer pressure come in those kids saying things in those kids' ears is more powerful than the parent. And
Yeah.
so when you could tell a kid to shut that noise out, go ask your parents.
Hmm.
So that's where you go ask your parent. Because it's not a parent telling the kid to go do stupid stuff. It's
Yeah.
another kid telling them. So you have have parent pressure. Go tell your parents. So that's where that comes from. Tell her,
That's right.
hit that up. Shout outs for that. Standing out on that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt,
Hmm.
no doubt. Appreciate y'all in the chat. All right, so okay, so you got your first store. Things are
Hmm.
going.
Hmm.
You're meeting different people. I'm pretty sure at the time, because you're more of a you're you're a hip hop record store owner. You're
Hmm.
not in the thought space of, like you said, you could have been a manager, but you're not thinking
Hmm.
of these people coming in like building relationships
Hmm.
and watching them grow and all of that. Right now, you selling product, right?
Right. Hmm.
Um, what were you an immediate success, or was there turbulence in the beginnings of the Funky Chicken?
So no turbulence. How it goes is that dream, that candy store dream,
Mm,
it was always repetitive in my mind. It was fun. And the products of the candy was the tapes, And so
yeah,
from that point, Carlos Brown, aka DJ Chaos, we said we was hanging in this Moonlight record store before we got there. But when we got to the Funky Chicken, it was Eddie Murphy movie. It was when he was a big dude and a small dude. I can't think of the name of that movie. It was
oh, the
the
the clumps,
yeah,
Professor
yeah. So that came out. So we came up with the idea that we selling tapes. Back in the days, it was the movie motion picture soundtracks that was hot.
Right,
So how you gonna
right,
get the people up in there? So what we did was we started putting out little flyers at the movie theaters, and really that's when people started coming, to the store.
smart.
We also did a battle of the rapper. In those raps, I can't. The other gentleman, it's so beautiful. After 20 years having the store open, because a lot of shook a lot of hands, a lot of people came back.
Yeah,
Can't think of the other gentleman's name. I should have took that note down because I know this is coming, but we'll come back to it. But I do remember
yeah.
one of the youngsters' name. And his name was TJ. Jackson. All right,
I
and
know
so
TJ.
I know you do. Yeah. So
Yeah, I know
TJ
TJ.
TJ was he came with his friend, but it was my nephew Derek Collins. Said he had somebody to be in the contest, so they brought him up to that was like probably a month or so before we had the Funky Chicken where everybody was standing out at. So we had a
Mm.
little rap contest, and TJ, everybody, we really don't know who won. We say either or, but that's TJ, aka Stressmatic,
Yeah,
Federation.
and
So
yep.
and so TJ,
Goldie.
well, Goldie, none of them was known. I didn't know them. And so when the
Yeah.
store opened over there, on for the people that's local, the Albertson shopping centers, not Albertson and Walmart. It was that's the way before the Walmart. Let's just say that, and before the
Mm,
church over there. So let's just say that's what that looked like. And I was coaching football, and I just looked at the little spot. I said, that's when I first said it, John. This is where I'm gonna build a store up, and that's how I looked at it. I seen the vision right there.
nice.
And so I called the realtor and opened the doors up like that, took the steps of, paying the rent. I'm old enough to understand how to pay the rent, and get a little register, and just
Get it
started with
going.
the accountant, get it going.
Get it
And so
going.
it was a young man, because it was right across the street from the high school. And so just whatever the little noise got out there, that's when Anthony came out in a little wheelchair and whatever he was going through. I don't know what came first, if he got shot or something like that, but I remember him, and he just started freestyling. He just started busting around some rap, and
But
I said, "Mhm,
those are gems that you're given because I mean you kind of glossed over them, but the fact that number one, there's some level of community outreach for a new business, right? You have a
yes,
rap battle, so you're bringing people in, not saying just come buy something from me, but you're
right,
saying I can do something for you. I can give you a space to shine,
hmm
right? Then on
hmm
top of that, location. You right across
hmm
the street from a high school.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you got a young clientele, you got a
hmm
clientele that probably getting their first job for at least half the school. So they need a spot to spend their money. They want to
yeah,
look good. They got school dances, they got
yeah,
football games they're going to.
Yes, yes, yes.
Even those little big decisions that you made,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure aided in the success of the store.
it did. Those I call it, that was the little pebbles back then.
Yeah.
I never thought it was going to do what it did after almost 26 years. And so from Anthony, I call Kyrie. Kyrie did the music for Mac Dre, and Anthony just bust some lyrics to him, and he wanted to sign Anthony before it even started. But then Anthony had um, Marcus Williams, Bobby Ford's
Mm.
son, and Bobby was my best friend to this day. And I didn't know they
Wow.
was connected. And so when I got them two together, then now we flying in Rick Rock. Rick Rock came in through Scott Gordon, Mike Mosley. So now you know Rick is in town, so Rick Rock is in town. Rick Rock, super producer, say the names was delivered at, so we had Goldie, we had Stress, and the Federation. And then when Rick comes in with Dooney Baby, so that's
Mm.
where all that started at. So they all meeting right there at the store. And so that was just the conclusion of really just a
Yeah.
whole new different dimension from me at Mike Mosley in my own store. I promised I wasn't going back to that look of love, and now I'm having fun with the youngsters. I'm learning from you all. I had no clue of this music era of which I listen to.
Right.
I like to skip and come back to it, but I'm gonna skip a little bit forward. Man, you was in there dancing, you was gigging too. Yeah,
You
you was.
know it.
I mean, it was fun for me because it was like
Absolutely.
it wasn't even the business. It's another story. I just enjoy just whatever was coming up in my mind. It was just really happening. But to bring the collaboration of from that, and Marcus and I call him Anthony, from the Federation. Keep people ears open. I got him on the record with Herm Lewis. That's the San Francisco Bay Area. He didn't rap. He was on KMEL. Yeah,
Mm.
Federation right there. He was on KMEL. He had
Yeah,
his
that's
nighttime
that's that's
show.
the Federation. I know them well. Every from the
Yes,
left, that's Dooney Baby. In the
right.
middle, that's Goldie, and on the right, that's
Goldie,
Stress.
Stress.
What's
Yeah,
crazy? I gotta do this because I know my guy is
uh,
listening because we got a storied history with
hmm
this particular group, and so I know
uh,
my guy Shaolin Sheldon, who was on the other day. He's from the
hmm
Bay Area. He lives out in Oakland. Shout out to you, homie. I know
Shout
you listening.
outs. Shout out to
He's the
Sai.
one I was telling you that he saw you recently,
hmm
because his somebody in his I think his wife's family got a new
hmm
place, and you happen to be like the neighbor or something like that. Something anyway. He saw you
Okay.
recently,
Yeah,
but
tell him to come see me.
for sure, for sure. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say this only because I know he's like, please say it. All right, because you don't know this.
Okay.
I'm about to hit you to something you don't know. Because and especially because of what you just said, you were like, oh yeah, you was dancing. I
hmm
was. You didn't know
hmm
I was rapping too though.
I didn't. I didn't.
So
Yeah.
we was battling them all the time.
Oh.
All the time.
Man, that'd have been the dopest
I
thing to have at the store, the battle.
fire. I
Yes.
actually played football with his older brother.
Okay.
We played in a Pee Wee league together, right? Before I
hmm
even knew him, he was still a young cat. But then we get to high school.
hmm
I can't remember how many years we are apart. Probably not that much. You think you're so much older. He was probably
hmm
like 2 years under me. But okay, so do you remember my hair ever being blonde?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
calling me
Uh,
Goldie, and they were
Whoa.
calling me Golden Child, right? I didn't
Yeah.
mind it. I didn't like take it on as my name, but I was like, whatever.
hmm
But
Not. I
because
heard Golden Child. I heard
that
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 from
that
you.
was that was people like trying to diss me though. But I let it ride
Oh.
because I'm like, I do what I do.
That was
Can't none of y'all
powerful.
see me on what I do, right?
Right.
Stress used to be in the same group with Shaolin Sheldon. They used to
Yeah.
all rap together. Sheldon was actually part of the tutelage on teaching Stress how to rap. like getting his thing together, right? But
Yes.
they tight, like no diss, just that's what it was. We all had to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how no stress. That's how. Let me say. Rumor has it that is how Ant got his name.
Right.
Because after they were making fun of my hair, I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember, Ant got his hair
Yes, I do.
blonde,
I
and
do.
then he
Look,
started
yeah.
calling himself Goldie.
Man, look
And I've
at it, man.
always,
So,
dude, we've always been like, yo, how you gonna come and take my?
that's what they call hip hop, huh?
That's hip hop, right? I don't got no story about Dooney. I remember Dooney at a rap battle though. Actually, I do have an embarrassing story about Dooney. It's not embarrassing to him; it's embarrassing to me, so I can say it. So we were over at the Fairfield Library. Somebody was having an event. It was like some kind of party or whatever that was over there, right? I'm there. Dooney's there. I can't remember if Goldie and Stress were there, but I know Dooney was there with some other people, some other local rappers. I think San Quinn, just different people, right?
Right.
They asking people, do they want to come and get on the mic? All these rappers are going up there. Everybody's doing their thing. You can't really hear them anyway because it's so loud. It ain't optimized. It's in a library. Whatever.
That distortion.
Right. Crazy distortion. So me, because matter of fact, I don't even know if Shaolin Sheldon knows this. This might be the first time I ever even told this story because it was super embarrassing.
Get it out.
I couldn't remember my rhymes. Like I was trying to think, like, what I'm gonna rhyme, which one I'm gonna do. And then I start going through this, like, doubting yourself. You know how that go when you're younger, like, oh, maybe I ain't good enough. So I got on the mic when I finally got the mic, and I said, how's it go?
Don't forget it now, baby. Get it
no,
out, baby.
It's not mine. The mic is contracted. Now your track clientele. My mic check is life or death. Breathing the sniper's breath. I exhaled the Buddha, smoking something through righteous steps, deep like the shot. That's not mine. That's Nas.
Oh.
I went up and I did Nas's rhyme because I was like, whatever. I just wanted to get up there. I'm gonna just do Nas rhyme. They don't know it.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Yo,
I did it too.
Hold on. Who called me out though? Dooney.
Dooney, what?
Dooney called me. Dooney was like, nah, we ain't doing that. That's not. I was like,
oh man, the historian. Okay.
Dude, it was the most embarrassing hip hop story I've ever had, and I've never shared it until this day. But yeah, that's my story with Dooney. That's my only interaction with Dooney was him taking the mic from me, saying, "You doing Nas raps."
All right, well, shout out to you for doing that, man. Telling the story, man. Now it's written, it's dated, and that will add more to, catching up with Dooney. I still think I got his number. We'll find out where he at.
Yeah,
so you tell the story. But that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I do. You go to it, look nice on you. That's the whole thing about all that, though, because we could go on and on, but we continue have it, and we could just bounce back on some of these things because that's I always say, here I go with another parable. Let's just say the good times, and you could have some of the most awkward things. Let's just say, and let's just use the ingredient. All right, so you got an egg. You can't eat an egg by itself, or that's raw. Sugar's too sweet. The oil, and then the vanilla, and then the flour. It's you can't eat it. By itself, but when you stir it all up, you know what I'm saying, you get that little batter, right? You can taste the batter, it tastes good, but when you put it in the oven, it's a pound cake.
Wow.
So today you look how far you came, and we on this pound cake with this conversation and with the fun things of it. The good news, and it seemed different back then, but so many different things came out of that because back then, with him and Marcus Anthony, they was Ken Smoke. And that's when I just brought
Ken Smoke. Yeah,
Ken Smoke came out.
I forgot Dooney was in Ken Smoke though. I don't think I knew that.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't in it. Basically what happened. You put Dooney, Rick Rock as executive because they was in a Cosmic Slop Shop with Mike Mosley on the Mike Mosley level. And so, and we had Big Lurch, and that'd be another story, Big Lurch got, Big Lurch, so they had all that. So they was coming to the store to find some artists, you know what I'm saying, Dooney and Rick.
Hmm.
but Rick had more of the executive mind on it, and that's how he built the federation. So when you have all that just sitting there, that's where the Mankey comes out. That's where Jai and everybody else, that little
Hold on,
circle,
Mank
the
came out.
twins. Mank got a platinum record somewhere right now. I just see it
What?
posted. Yeah, Mank shot a video at the Funky Chicken not too long. Mank on it. So catch up with Mank.
How,
Mank the mayor. That's the first mayor that they've been saying out there in Fairfield. That's Mank the mayor. He
and
out
and
there.
I remember the name. I just didn't.
Hmm
I never heard any of the music. I,
Mank
I,
for
I
mayor. Yeah.
remember. Wow, Mank got a platinum record. That's fire.
Yeah.
It's one of his
He
records or record he was on.
he's record he was on the feature. Yeah. So a
Wow,
lot of
that's
different things.
fire.
Yeah. So when we catch up with the rest of the crew, because you about to be on fire, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna bring them all to you. And when you mix all that into the Funky Chicken,
Yeah,
uh, just to go back and watch you guys have fun,
yeah.
I was in the store, I was traveling, and I set up something, and I'm gonna just jump to it. I set up something else, and it was my boy Showtime.
Hmm.
Showtime's from San Francisco, where I used to go pick my music up in Oakland. We'll always meet at the music people, the record people,
Okay.
Intermittent Records, but the music people where I got the records from. And then we used to celebrate. They used to have certain celebration. That's when we met different people from the Bay Area.
Hmm.
And my boy Showtime put me on the game of getting my clothes. And he brought me a little set of clothes in the store, and those clothes so fast. So I like, man, this is a commodity right here. This is the hot thing. So it was
Wow.
a magic show, magic convention, clothing convention. So we all went out there, me, Showtime, Manye had this one shirt. He had this Yay Area shirt, almost similar to mine. That's pretty much what I kind of flipped the concept off of his and brought it back. And then we had Dawu. Dawu is another gentleman you want to talk to, because Dawu has a company called Big Printing, but he had a shirt called Big Pimpin'. So
Mm.
everybody came up under my wings, because I was really one pushing the weight, the boxes of the clothes, the cotton, and so when you get to Big Printing, he's the one out of our little circle that did it real big. He got some big printing company out in Oakland,
Fire.
and we started just hanging shirts in his backyard on the fence. I was really just helping him push the shirts from my store, because all the money was down this way.
Yeah.
But that'd be another story. But he's Big Printing. If you guys need your shirts done, go to Big Printing. Uh,
Big printing. I
yeah,
like.
Big Printing. Yeah, out there in Oakland. So we all would go out there to the clothing convention. But he took his entrepreneur based on a different level. And again, this is all under the foundation of Funky Chicken, that he's seen to do t-shirts. I mean, all the t-shirts you pretty much see in this Bay Area at the Warriors game and all that. Some of those are his account. He did something about the Black Lives Matter, something about in that era with George Floyd. He got a big account with someone. He never told us anything, but it was a multi-million account. So shout
Mm.
out to Big Britain, black business that did that. Other than that,
Absolutely. Shout out.
Showtime came to me. A lot of people don't know the little cans I was holding. I created the energy drinks, other Bay Area. No one created. I created from the scratch, right out of Fairfield. Let's just say Susu, California. So Fizz
Oh,
juice. Yeah,
you created the
yeah,
energy drink.
yes, yeah. After I closed the store, yeah. The Mac Dre, the 18 dummy for Rick Rock, the Fizz juice, the 100 rack. Shout out to Lil Show Banger. Lil Show Bangers is I'm from the Fit Field, Show
Yeah.
Bangers.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What's the name of the energy drink?
All of them. You have Mac Dre, you got Fizz Juice. These are separate drinks.
I remember Fizz Juice. I did.
18 Dummy, yeah. 100 Racks. 100 Rack is the one that pretty went south. HUNID 100 Racks. RACKS.
Oh, okay. I see it. I see it now.
Yeah, I created all that out of my bedroom. Yeah,
What?
from scratch.
Oh,
Artist shout out to Vince Concepcion. He calls himself Practice G. Yeah, yeah, that's me.
that's
He
you.
did he didn't do the Mac Dre. We did the Diz Juice, the art from that. I helped created that design.
Yeah.
100 racks. So I tell people when I show people that, I say follow your dreams. I did it from out the bedroom.
Wow.
because a lot
This
of
is
people
low
don't
key the
know.
candy shop right here. This is low key.
Low key candy shop, baby. Soda pop, the pop shop.
That's low
Yeah,
key the candy shop right there.
yeah.
That's fire, bro.
It'll be another story to that because that's really what it was all about, man. It's another story, but it's so unique. You know, I was the first one to really bring flavors to the energy drink because it started off before Red Bull even made it big, and
Wow.
and that's what I banked off when I was going back and forth to Oakland. I was stuck in traffic, and the gentleman he gave me a Red Bull. He gave me Red Bull. He told me to drink this stuff, and they have this thing they call what they got up in that thing. This I probably got to anyway. It's I know the word, but I can't think of it. But anyway, but when I drink that Red Bull, you know, it says open your mind and all that stuff like that. What
Yeah.
also calms you down, you know,
Yeah.
taurine. It was taurine. Taurine's
Oh
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
key.
Terrain.
Taurine is the key ingredient to where, you know, a lot of people. I tell people this though. You know, people wake up. You know, coffee. I'm not really a big coffee drinker, but you know, a girl got me on, so I started to drink that a little bit. But taurine, what it does is your body when you wake up, your body wakes you up, so you're already up. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But your mind is saying, I don't want to get up, but you're up.
You
So
up?
what taurine does, it wakes your brain up. It'll make you go pay all your bills. So don't drink a lot of taurine. If you don't want to, it'll make you do what you do. But I was going back and
Shout
forth.
out to Taurine. Shout out to Taurine.
Taurine, the taurine, man. And that's why you don't need the energy drink because you know they put it in a little 5 hour shot. They put the taurine
Yeah,
in there,
yeah.
so you know that it was making people, you know, all that sugar and all that. So that's how the energy drink slowed down. But you know, I got it out there, and it's just it's a good thing to. And I don't know, which I do know is I know how it all started, and that's God. I'm a believer in God, so I want everybody to know that I'm a Christian for sure. And with that, uh, I never took no chemistry or none of that stuff. One of the business ordered by Clorox, the ones that built the cans and stuff. Again, I have all these names later, but it was
Yeah.
right there in Fairfield, and I went there and asked them the questions. And I asked them the questions. You know, how you do this? How you do this can? How you do this? How you get the flavor? And I shared it with Rick Rock because Rick Rock got his first little royalty checks. You know, he's my homie and from the Tupac and with me every day. And Rick Rock, you know, wrote a cashier check for $100,000 and say, you know, do it.
Let's do it.
So shout outs
And
to
Rick,
Rick
Rick
Rock.
is that kind of guy.
Oh man, to
Rick
this
is that
day.
kind of guy. Yeah,
Yeah, to
yeah.
this day. To
Completely
this
down
day.
there.
Yeah, so Rick, you know, he gave us that opportunity. We went to Las Vegas. I had another youngster that was here, uh, and he was into the Ultimate Fighter.
Mhm.
So he lived out here, and he told me to come out there. And again, we extend that story. So I did the science, you know, XYIENCE, and that was always in the ring. So I created that drink, and that's what sponsored the 18W from Rick Rock. So a lot of different things happen, you know, a lot of up and
So
down.
okay,
You,
hold on. So we go from the candy store, and then
mm-hmm.
that jumps into the record store, right? We open the hip
Yep.
hop store. People are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
What if you can put your finger on it? Because that's a dope transition and jump.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the moment that you decided, you know what, I'm gonna now get into food and beverage?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What made you not jump ship, but add that to the legacy?
I give you the formula for that was like I said, it was when me and Carlos again we started off the first thing I bought for the store before it was a store was Too Short tape, his last tape, that's what he
Mm,
called it. And I bought like five of them. We had to test the water, you know. And so
gotcha.
if you live in Fairfield and you got to drop to the Bay Area, you're gonna be in some traffic. And so when I was going to the music people in Oakland, and I was always complaining because I had to bring the tapes back. I had to bring the tapes back to Fairfield for everybody's pre-orders before it was really the Funky Chicken. We was at a store called Moonlight. And that's where I met TJ at. And so before that happened, I was going back and forth on the freeway, tripping, hated the traffic, hated it. I mean, it's like that LA traffic, just hated. And so the gentleman that worked at the music people, I can't think of his name, that's when he gave me that Red Bull. I'd never seen it before. And I promise you,
Mm.
when I drank that thing, I was just rolling. I was calm in the traffic and everything.
Oh,
And
so
then
it was
that's
that
when I
Red
said,
Bull.
that Red Bull, I'm gonna make my own
Wow.
drink. And everything else I give it to God because I can't tell you what made me walk this way, that way. I know when I seen it, that's when I closed my store down off the cart. and that was just another dream. And the story with that, I'm just tell you how God works. This is
Yeah.
uh, basically started off with he started off. It's funny how I say it in this order. Of He said, "What weighs more?" Because I was sitting in the mall at my cart, and honestly, I got tired of selling all that explicit music. Right, I was like, I got to do something different. I was looking around in the mall. I was inside of Westfield Mall, and so I was looking around. I said, "Wow, man, they built this big old mall." So I want to be, I want to do something big. And so God knew I didn't want to be in no real estate. So he told me about water. He said, majority of everything on your body is water, and the whole world majority is water. And
Mm.
then he gave me this little thought about what weighs more, critical thinker. This is just the Holy Ghost was talking critical thinker. And he's like, okay, he said, what weighs more? And I'm gonna see if you get it. What weighs more, 1,000 pounds of bricks or 1,000 pounds of feather? This is him talking to me in spirit.
Mm.
So what weighs more, 1,000 pounds of bricks or 1,000 pounds of feather?
They weigh the same.
That's how he hit it. I didn't know it, but he told me that. And that was powerful.
Wow.
So this is how I got to that point. And then from there, he told me, he said, everything in the world is free. He said, water is free. You go to the neighbor, they give you some water. Water is free. And then he showed me, he said, fruit is free. You go to your neighbors, they give you lemons. You know what I'm saying? They give it to you. He said,
Yeah.
sugar is
Right.
free. I mean, he broke down and said, oil is free. Someone dug a hole in the ground, you know what I'm saying? The oil came out. And then all these spiritual things. He said, if you throw your net in the water, you got abundance of fish. Free. People
Huh.
got everything on this land. Dirt is free. Dirt comes into soil, and then they sell it. Then people got their gardens, and then they get flowers. He was showing me all this, but he gave me some three main characteristics of this energy drink. He said water's free, lemon is free, sugar is free. All right. So you
Hmm.
got water, lemon, and sugar. All right. He's coming through this lemonade type of theory, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he said, but if you mix, like the pound cake, he said, but if you put all that together, he was basically telling me like, but there's one thing that ain't free. Because if you need to make lemonade, you need to put it in a cup, right? And
Right.
so if you got to put it in the cup, he said, well, one thing, he said, well, the world is lazy. So he said, you go out there and smash. And I did all these things. I really did this. He said, go smash some aluminum cans and some recycle. And then after you do that, you go buy you some little cups, paper cups. Now, remember, my mind is still on that funky chicken when I used to see the stores in New Orleans and Louisiana.
Yep.
They had the little cups with the little ice in it. They had the lemonade, frozen lemonade
Oh
and stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
So that's where my mind went. And then I tell everybody, uh, people are lazy. And so if you recycle the cans, you get to go buy your cup. You know what I'm saying? So now
Mm.
you have something to pour it into, a little cup, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when I thought of the energy drink can, just based on that theory. And I tell people, you got to understand that lemonade stands worth $1 million because it's a raise money type of thing to help out. And so that's how I created the energy drink, just based on that.
That is
Yeah,
a bar. That is a bar.
yeah,
I don't know if y'all caught it. I'm a lyricist, so I catch the bars. That was a bar
yeah,
because what you
yeah.
basically also said in an analogy style way was that things like creativity, motivation,
Mm,
inspiration,
yes.
drive, those things are all free, but we
Mm-hmm,
all need a vessel to put it in.
mm,
And
mm-hmm,
sometimes that vessel is not inside of you. It might be in somebody like Chauncey who puts together the funky chicken. So maybe you got to pay to get to that vessel. You got to pay to
mm-hmm,
go buy some clothing there or drive your car to
mm-hmm,
get there to watch the rap battles. But once you're
mm,
there, you get all these free things that come with it that are
yes.
inspiration and motivation and drive. I see what you did there.
Okay,
I
that's
see what you
powerful.
did. I see what
Powerful,
you
yeah.
did there.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's fire.
It's so powerful. And just like I tell everybody, it's don't struggle, God has it is there. It's all
Yeah.
there. All you just put the pieces together.
Amen to
And
that.
so that's where the energy drinks came at. That's where some of the deals went down. And
Yeah.
here's the real contract to the energy drinks. Don't tell nobody your vision. It was a Habakkuk 2:2 in the Bible. It's write it down as big as you can. So when I threw it out there, people started jumping on it, and I really
Yeah.
didn't get paid, so I was about to be out there hurting somebody, some other people. That jail stuff came back, but
It
I
came
gave my
back.
life to God. It did real quick. They was
Oh,
making
it's always
millions,
right there.
some
It's
millions of
always right
dollars was
there.
out there. Yeah, and I like, wait a minute now, y'all making monies, but again, and I promise you in this era, and this is what I share with you, young James, is that I was on that edge, and at one point, just going to Mount Calvary, shout out to Pastor Lee and the
Mhm.
whole congregation there.
Yes, sir.
Uh, your mother and some of the ladies, they supported me. They was, they said, get saved. And I
Yep.
and I got saved. And I can remember her voice going, "Hey, Chauncey," when I was up there. And I
Amen.
can still hear
Amen.
her voice, Rochelle's voice, all the ladies she was around. So every
Yeah.
time I see her, I think about that. And that's when I changed my life. I ain't hurting no more about it. I'm just gonna do this. And that's what made it just a better life for myself. So
It's
I look
just
at your mom.
it's you. Sorry. I mean to cut you off. You look at my mom and
That's what I think of. I think
mm,
of this that moment, where even Pastor Lee is just it was for me. I would go in there. I said, man, because I'm lightweight street boy. Pastor Lee, I grew up under my wings. They was younger than me.
yeah.
And then when I got in that church, I said, man, I tell people this. The closest relationship you have to any movie stars or anybody on TV is TV. Your closest relation, even if I couldn't talk to TD Jakes because my closest relationship is TD Jakes. But when you
Mm,
go to your own church and you talk to your pastor, I could talk to him.
yeah.
And so that's
Yeah.
the beauty of it. And so that's what got me up in the church. And I told him, I said, man, I said, dude, your ministry is more powerful than the Jay-Z concert. And I naturally said that. I'd rather listen to this than, go to the
That's
little
fire.
concert and stuff. And so
That's
that's
fire.
where, got in the choir and see moms in the choir and everybody, just the love of just
Oh
that
yeah.
circle. So that's
Yeah,
the
man.
beauty of it. But yeah, you on the mic though. But I'm ready.
No, just thinking about your story so far and how you hit some very pivotal points, whether it
Mm-hmm.
was being out there seeing all the other little black businesses, and that kind of got you
Mm-hmm.
inspired to coming back and what you dealt with, just as an adolescence, getting into the jail system, but then that moment of you love it here, don't you? And then
Mm-hmm.
then fast forward to all these moments that you've shown, and after all those moments have passed is when you gave your life to Christ. And the beauty in that, and I hope that people
Mm-hmm.
caught that, is that even though it may take us time to give our lives to Christ, Christ has already given to us.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So he was already given to you long before. He was already pouring into you, guiding your steps in this perfect way,
Mm-hmm.
of good and bad, this perfect way of light and dark. Because we
Mm-hmm.
all got darkness in us. I was listening to a speech from Jim Rohn, and he was saying how powerful those two energies of light and dark are. And when you
Mm-hmm.
turn the light out, the darkness
Yeah.
takes over. But
Yeah.
the moment the light is back on, the darkness disappears, but it's
Mm-hmm.
always waiting, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
always waiting right there. And the moment the light's gone, it's back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
but through all of that, then you get to this beautiful moment where you give your life to Christ, and that is
Yeah.
that's
Because
awesome, man. That's awesome.
we always have it in our household. My uncle told me the same one. He says, "Dark don't understand light, so the light is
Mm,
always on us." And so when you have that and you walk in until you really just start listening to, the just listen to whatever good Holy Spirit is telling you,
yeah,
is really there. It's
yeah.
really there. So, dark don't understand light. That's the
Dark
beauty of
don't
it.
understand light. I like
It
that.
don't.
I
It don't.
like
Wherever you step in, it don't matter if you're in a club, it don't matter, you'll be holding a drink and it'll be water. They think it's alcohol, but we can step in wherever we go because God is with us at all times. So yeah, that's
it.
dark
Yeah.
don't understand light.
I
Let's just
like
say
that.
that.
Dark don't
Yeah.
understand light. I like that. Sorry, back
Hmm.
to the chat again. I'm gonna kind of keep touching on the chat when we
Let's
hit
go.
little
Let's do it.
pockets. They are chiming in, but I want to make sure all the information continues to flow and
Hmm.
whatnot. So Mama Wolf said we
Hmm.
need more of these stories. Um,
Thank you, Mama
of,
Wolf.
of, our, of our neighborhood legends creating
Hmm.
stuff like energy drinks. I
Yeah.
agree. Growing
Hmm.
up in the hood myself, I wish I knew of people in my neighborhood with that creativity. And that is
Mm-hmm.
what is so I Mama Wolf, thank you for that. That is what is so
Yeah,
important. And what
yes.
one thing I knew
Tat.
we were gonna get from Chauncey is that the fact that not only is he doing it, but he's telling other people, he's passing it forward, he's talking
Mm-hmm.
to the kids, he's doing community things so that he can pour into the kids. Because oftentimes we do have this kind of creativity, or we do have this kind of desire and passion, or even accomplishment, but because sometimes we're our worst enemies, we hating, we stealing from each other, we tearing our own stuff up, we don't
Mm-hmm.
really talk about it. We don't really tell
Mm-hmm.
somebody, yo, I'm the one that did this. Yo, I went and got a deal like this. Yo, I put these two people together and blah blah, and inspire the next minds. So I
Mm-hmm.
agree with Mama Wolf. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. Mama Wolf it's lemonade. It's a lemonade stand. It's a multi-million-dollar company. So nowadays, people are making their own lemonades. All the ingredients is there.
Yeah,
So if anybody want to do some pop-ups in the summertime and the wintertime, we're gonna come to the house. We're gonna support.
yeah, that's a fact.
Yes.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
so you said a couple of times, you said, it's 26 years, but you said we reopened, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get the story of when you closed.
Yeah. The story about closing the store, and everybody's gonna understand this, is that
Hmm.
they were bootlegging CDs. Went from vinyl.
Ah,
That's how I ran my little campaign. I ran the campaign when I was running for the mayor of Fairfield. I was letting people know the era I came from. I came from 8 tracks, a needle on a record, from a tape to a CD.
yes,
Now
sir.
these kids, these youngsters, really is it's about coding and programming. The music is at the palm of our hand, like what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so when closing the stores, they were just burning CDs. I had to fry the chicken. Let's just say this, had to fry the chicken, man.
They had
Like,
the
man, they
fried
bootlegging
chicken.
because the record labels was the one printing out the blank CDs for everybody to burn it, so they didn't have to pay the artists. And so
Mm,
that's what tore down all the labels. It ain't there no more. And then
I had to
at the pirate
fry
radio,
the
yeah,
chicken.
you had to fry the
You
chicken.
might as
So
well. You probably should
mm,
have just went to frying chicken. They can't bootleg
hey,
fried chicken.
every company that hear the funky chicken, they think it's a chicken store. So we're gonna be working on that. I love what you want it though. So and again, I'm open up that for everybody, where everybody can have a share of that. Like
Mm.
what they call the stadium with the cheese at, Green Bay. That the people own it.
Oh yeah, the
So
cheese
it's
heads.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's big. The name is there. It's ready, and so I had to close the funky chicken because
Mm.
of that. And that's when I went from that to the energy drink.
Yeah.
And from
That
that
makes
point
sense.
on, added on the other reason why, because I say it like this with the funness of it though, and they're my blessings. I had funky chicken babies, so I had to be a daddy, And so I did those years, and coming back around when it got to me hitting 50, I
Mhm.
said I want to do something. I need to stamp something like a career job. So I went to school, got a associate's degree in healthcare and science. I wanted to deliver a baby. My oldest daughter was about to have her baby, even though I had two
Okay.
grandchildren before my oldest daughter. So they were saying I need to be a doula. So that's like a midwife, but it really
Yep.
ain't a
Yep.
midwife. You're like a cheerleader. Yeah, they said I had all this energy. And so that was successful. I went got my associate degree and all that, but they had
Nice.
me leveled up on a bigger level on that, to where I had job offers at these big hospitals to manage, because they didn't. I mean, there was something about it to them, to where I even had the mind to manage the hospitals and all that stuff like that. But it was really a bluff. I ain't doing that. But what got me going, it was that I had to make some money. I had to pay my loan off, right? And so I
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
job at shout out to George Nixon, I Feel Good Medical. He took a chance and opportunity to hire me downtown Fairfield. I Feel Medical, that's where you get your wheelchairs and hospital beds and all that. But
Hmm.
you got to watch how my mind goes. So I took the job because I know retail. All the other jobs, like, man, I ain't trying to be up in there. So
Yeah.
I go in there and learn the process of selling briefs, not underwears. I mean, not diapers. They call it briefs and underwears. They gloves, anything that you need in the hospital for your house and for your loved ones. That gentleman got it on in the West downtown Fairfield. But what
Gotcha.
I seen was that there was a lot of people that worked for someone coming into the store.
Hmm.
And so right there, I was thinking they don't have to come to the store. I could deliver it to them. So I came up with another business in my head. I was going to do medical delivery with medical stuff like hospital beds, wheelchairs, and rollators and all that.
That's a big business.
Yep. And I was telling
Yeah.
the boss. So, this is, again, I'm almost 7 years ago. I'm telling him, this what I want to do. And he didn't believe in it, and I kept telling him, I said, this way, look, everybody's coming in from the workers. Didn't have to bring the patient in. Like, that's inconvenient, And that's a little bit right after, it got heavy right after the COVID. People needed that delivery. And so I
Yeah.
already had the name and everything. So I called the administration part of it, like where you get the magazines and you can see where all the different businesses. I call that What's Up Doc. So WASS' doc. So what's up, doc? Because it's just a medical term with a fun twist to it, like funky chicken.
Oh yeah.
And my delivery company is called Stat Run, STAT Run, Stat Run, quick and fast. I give it to you.
Stat.
And so Stat Run. So basically, he said it wouldn't work. And then that's when I knew to shut my mouth. I tell you in the beginning, the game is to be sold, not told.
Not
You know what
told.
I'm
This is
saying?
a fact.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
stopped telling them that, and so that's what happened. Got into that part of it, and then the gentleman that was building my website up after that code, he was setting up my website. He said, "Man, you need to open up the Funky Chicken." I said, "Man, you tripping?" 20 years, so yeah, I ain't doing that. Luis, shout out to Luis. Luis is the one that doing some of my videos and stuff right now. But Luis, Bay Area Media. But he was the one that
He
just,
was the one.
he was the one that kept
Yo,
saying it. But
Luis, if
yeah,
you see this, thank you,
yeah.
Luis.
I'm gonna hit
Thank you
Luis
for
up too.
talking
Let him
sense
know to
to that
watch.
man. Thank you.
Hey, but I'm 50 some years old. Like, oh man, that ain't happening.
Hey,
And
that
so
ain't nothing. That ain't nothing.
so he went from
Not
that.
for a guy like you. 50 something ain't nothing for a guy like you.
Man, so
Nah, man.
I
You just getting
closed.
your stride.
Hey, for real though, man, the love is real. And so
Facts.
from closing it down and then 20 years later and reopen it, and open it back up in the mall, that was the best. It was the best. It was the best because I didn't know I had that type of love. It was so much love to when I opened the doors, it just, again, it reminded me when I opened it. I mean, it was just the support and the love. It's like it was just big.
Yeah.
What happened in the change of that, Mr. Young James, is that you guys grew up.
Yeah. We looked a
You
lot
got
different
not,
when we came back.
yeah, 20 years later, man, junior high, high school. And so
Yeah.
when I seen you, I was so happy to see you. Most of all because people didn't know how my heart felt when the people was coming to the store. They was telling me the stories of how they grew up in the store, and then they would bring their wife in and their kids. Now I would have never thought that I would see wife and the kids. So I call it
Yeah.
the third generation. When I see your son,
Yeah.
I was able to see the third generation. So
That's a
that's the
fact.
beauty of it all, to where I'm at this age and what I did back then, I get to see you all with your family and your loved ones. And so that was the beauty. And then the kids that came into the store, they kept saying, from Vacaville, from Fairfield, Susan, they kept saying, "You should be the mayor." I said, now y'all really tripping." And so I told them, "Man, I turned Fairfield upside down." They said, "Nah, Chauncey, you right side up, they upside down." A lot of ups and downs in Fairfield,
Yeah.
But
Okay, hold on.
they
Before
put.
we get,
Let's
let's not
go.
go to the. Hold
Yeah.
on, hold on.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
we're gonna get there.
Yes. All
Because
right.
that I definitely need to hear more about.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to hear a little bit more. I hate to double back. I like to try to keep with the flow of
Mm-hmm.
the show, but that's such an interesting shift that you got into medical supply delivery. So did you
Mm-hmm.
actually get that company? I know he was working on the website until you should
Mm-hmm.
reopen the Funky
Mm-hmm.
Chicken, but how
Mm-hmm.
big were you able to grow that business? How long were you in it? Was it lucrative? Tell me something about that.
The What's Up Dot in the Stat
Yeah.
Run,
Yeah, in the stat
very
run.
lucrative. I didn't get to open it because it all happened hand in hand with the Funky Chicken. And so I'm
Ah,
going to reopen it. It's a powerful thing. I still do a little bit of deliveries with it, but I
yeah.
kept it going with the boss of the store, and he pretty much and he's older, no matter what. When God gave me the vision, I got the vision.
I
And
got
so
the
I'm gonna
vision.
get back to it. This the easiest thing I can tell you. This is the same thing like the water and the lemon and the sugar. Simplicity of things is that even if I didn't know any of the medical items up in there, for sure, for sure. This is what I was telling everybody. For sure, for sure. I can sell some diapers. It's simple, no matter what. And the best way I can say, you go to Walmart, go to Target, go to this CVS store. You will see adult, briefs and underwears, and the shelves are clear. If you didn't know no product, so we're gonna
Yeah.
say this where y'all connect with me because I get a wholesale. If y'all want to do your deliveries, if you don't know anything, for sure, we can sell diapers delivery. And so that's the simplicity of it. But I took it to another level because I stayed in there over 4 or 5 years. And I learned a lot of
Mhm.
more things because I don't want you, it's like saying, let's shout out to little McDonald's. McDonald's will make you buy a drink with the syrup in it. That's what made their money. And they make you buy the whole package. So I'm telling y'all, when we
Right.
do this, there's other things that go with diapers like gloves and wipes and the other little things. Simplicity of it. So the
Yeah.
simplicity of it
Yeah.
is what makes it big. And so that's why and that's another thing. I'm starting on that, probably in a couple of weeks, and we're gonna get it going. And so I'm gonna open up from from state to state, city to city. And so
Okay.
what
So I know some people
mm,
listening are gonna
hmm
want to either be an entrepreneur on their own, because
hmm
that's a big hustle right now. That's a big
yeah,
small business right now, right? A
yes
lot
it
of
is.
people, especially with Amazon doing more last mile door-to-door delivery, people getting into that.
hmm
So medical supply delivery is pretty big. I'm
hmm
sure that as you start to franchise and branch out, you'll take on people that want to do something in their market, right? And they can work
Right.
with you,
Yeah.
doing stat runs. But
Yes.
let's just say someone was listening and they wanted to build their own. What would be
Right.
your suggestions or your direction on how they would get into it?
Yeah, so to build their own business. So let's just keep it on
In,
that
in
business
medical
part of it.
supplies.
Oh, a medical side to build
Yeah,
their own
medical
business, a
delivery.
medical supply. Truth of it is you got to learn the product. You almost got to go work in that environment to understand it. Other than that,
Mm,
it won't work. That's why I said I was just going to work there just to pay the my loan off. But once you get in there, I soaked in the game. My mind,
yeah,
because I I never really worked for anyone. I always had my own business. So I tell
right.
people, if you see me in McDonald's, don't look at it and say Chauncey working at McDonald's. Say Chauncey about to own a McDonald's. So that's where I look at it. When I was in there, you know. And the fun thing was a lot of the church people came in
I
there.
love it.
It was fun, but
I
I was
love
just
it.
I was just inputting. So one of the tools of the medical supply business, you have to you would be shocked from head to toe of what people order,
Hmm.
and so getting accounts open and doing that. But it's more to it, and we'll break it down from that because I am going to open up because the simplicity of it is that I can show you guys in your own city and town how to work it. Basically, what it is, and a lot of people don't know. I can show people too, and that'll be another little podcast that I created DoorDash many years ago, over 37 years ago. I drew it out and everything on the phone. So
You know,
yeah,
you know what what I'm noticing from everything you're saying is that
uh,
there's one ingredient
yeah,
that I think you missed, and it's not your fault. It's just time frame of technology. There's
hmm
one ingredient that
hmm
if you had it,
hmm
the funky chicken would already be in 78 cities, at least in this country, and that's
right,
social media. When I
exactly.
hear you talking about the
hmm
battles, when I hear you talking about the energy drinks, when I hear you talking
hmm
about the record store, and I hear you talking about a place where all of these local legends who then branch out and become global
hmm
superstars come to
hmm
congregate. When I hear all of these things in my head, I'm like, I just saw the energy drink bangs blow up crazy. They went from a no-name brand to next
hmm
thing I know, I kept seeing them on social media, like influencer pages, and now I see them in Walmart, Target,
hmm
AMPM, 7-Eleven, everywhere I go, I see this
hmm
energy drink. But
hmm
their energy drink isn't based on anything relevant. Only thing that they did was create a ton of flavors that weren't around before. Like you can
Right,
go get blueberry guava and vanilla
right,
chocolate or whatever, like just all
yeah.
kind of crazy flavors, and that's kind of how they're winning. Whereas
hmm
you found something almost like rap snacks. Like that's kind of what I
hmm
equivalate your energy drink to. What they came
right,
out years and years later, you were way ahead of the
hmm
curve, is rap
yeah.
snacks. They took regular snacks and just put a wrapper on the front of them and call it their name. You know what? I don't know
Exactly.
because I don't eat them, but like Migos cheddar cheese or whatever it is.
Right.
That's exactly what you did with the Fizz juice, and I'm like, that if that had social media, if those things had social media behind it,
Right. It's been
I'd
powerful.
be having to, wait a
Hmm.
few months to probably even get a phone call because you'd be
Right.
not because of no
Right.
love, just because you'd be so busy. But
Yeah.
like you, I think you said it perfect a minute ago. It's just that it's funny how God works. God has
Yes,
its
it
way.
is.
God has His
God.
way of timing, and
Hmm. And so today I want to win. And you asked a good question, how to start things up, and that's what we're going to do. Sit down and share these different ideas from anyone because I pretty much walk it through. The difference of it is that um, my foundation was reckless, and that's what I tell
mm,
people. Just find you a great partner. That believes in you, and when God shows you something, uh, even if it's husband or wife, and they don't want to do it, I always tell people, God showed you, not them. You the bread breaker.
yeah,
So
yeah,
and when you could do like what you're doing right now, that's a beautiful situation. And those were some of the conflict I had. I was I jumped in the Shark Tank,
mm,
and told all my dreams and stuff like that. And so now you just write it down. And so right now I'm in a better state of mind to, let's do this right. Even when I stepped out and reopened the Funky Chicken, I mean, they came so hard. I just closed the store at the end of June because I was in there for 2.5 years, and the only days I had off was Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And I'm telling you, a lot of people came through. It was that type of love. And
I
so I
can
didn't get to have
imagine.
that free time. So I said, I need a break and I need to just, uh, what you're saying, exactly what you're saying. The proof of concept worked, the store
Yeah,
works. And now I could put it on social media and I can
yeah,
relax and open it up.
right.
And I can make designs in any city. I got LA designs. I mean, it's that nobody's ever seen this big. And so we're gonna get it. We're gonna get that going, and that's how I'm gonna open the doors because I always ask people. I say, well, you got an Instagram, you got a Facebook, especially either one of them. And they say, yeah. I said, well, how many people you got following? They say 500. Well, you got a store because you got 500 people that I don't have. And
Mm,
once I make that design in those backyards, they got to
yeah,
come to you. And so that's how it's going to work. Even with the hospital supplies, I mean, it's real heavy, it's deep, and the simplicity of it is beautiful. And I would just give anyone that's listening right now, you could find a medical store in your backyard, but it's a storefront, and the odds of it
mm,
is that um, you can start that just like anything else, but it's something that where I figure out you get more money instead of going to that shop
yeah,
and building up a website and they will give you a discount on it. You want the better price on it. You want like the better than the Amazon. So I've
yeah,
studied Amazon. I tell you some of the secrets to all this. We'll go to these conventions where they do the medical supplies and we'll go sit down with that, James. And we'll
yeah,
get
yeah.
direct to the people because a lot of people don't understand how Amazon got together, how they built it is that the companies wanted them, they gave them the product for someone to test it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
basically, the people was able to test it out. And then what Amazon did with that is like the people wanted more. Some things I understand the hustle. Some things he sold what he got for free. Let's just say that, and got the money on it. So it's the same way. I did it with the tapes. I
talk
did it with
about it. Talk about it.
I did it with the Funky Chicken. Back in the days, they were
Yeah,
with CDs. They would poke a hole in the thing in the barcode. But that's how they got. That's how they say you got on the billboard because basically it's something. It's in the lyrics, but really what they did is they got the money and they didn't go put the posters and stuff up. They went and gave the money to the people and they
mm,
made the people go
yeah.
in the record store just to scan their music. That was the hustle. That
Wow.
gorilla market. Why go take money and go buy posters when the posters gonna thin out? And they went and had the people go in the store, gave them the money. Like smart man, the hood is genius. I tell you,
Hey,
you
hey,
become you
hey.
become a you become a genius after the fact. You know what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying?
Playing those numbers. I remember
Yeah.
I heard P doing that. I think I
Mhm.
even heard Diddy doing that. Like,
Right. Mhm.
getting X amount of product and
Mhm.
then but basically buying it back from yourself.
Mhm. Yeah.
You usually they did it with dirty money, but we ain't gonna go into that. But buying all the
Right.
product back from yourself, sound scan into the, looks
Yeah.
like, whoa, they sold how many at a
Mm-hmm.
local independent level. Then you go
Mm-hmm.
out to the parks and just give it away because it's already purchased now. You can give it
Right.
out. And now the label's coming with
Mm-hmm.
10, 20 times that amount. Like, well, if we could put some
Mm-hmm.
money behind you,
Mm-hmm.
you really could blow up.
And that's what it
And there it is.
was. That's what it was. You got to
There it
realize
is.
that back then they didn't listen to the music; they looked at the numbers.
Yeah,
And so when they
absolutely.
seen those numbers coming up, that's when they say, and they would straight buy a minimum of 5,000, 10,000 of them. So you had a check right there, And so
Off top.
but you have to be at the table and understand how those, how the labels was treating the people. They wasn't giving them off; they was giving them pennies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And a
yeah.
lot of people would get mad and say, wait a minute, I signed a deal for 300 some $1,000. You made $1 million. And that mistake was that the people didn't go out there and try to sell it themselves before they went and got a record deal.
That's
So
it.
now everything is at the palm of your hand. Your manager is your Instagram. Pretty
Right.
much.
Right. And
So
you can
that's
make back in the
mm-hmm,
day, they don't understand. Even
mm-hmm,
even quality artists was making
mm-hmm,
25 cents a record or 25 cents on
mm-hmm.
the dollar. Most of them was
Yeah,
making like between 11 to 13
yeah,
cents on the
yeah.
dollar.
That's why that's where the applause come in for everybody in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
On the tape, they was getting like $3 or $4. I was giving them eight. I was giving money $7.
Oh,
I was
nice.
giving cash money. And a lot of
Oh,
people don't
yeah.
understand my employees. I was paying them $15 an hour. A lot of people say,
Back then.
uh, uh, too many Indians and not enough cheese, right?
Yeah.
Well, my days I wanted nothing but Chiefs. What I'm saying? I want no Indians. All you gotta do is bring the receipt back because when I take a vacation, they gonna take care of me. And when they take one, I'm gonna take care of them.
Big
So
fact.
I need nothing but Chiefs on my team. So that's how you do it, and that's just really the whole circumference of funky chicken and hip hop. We go on and on because it can be a part one, part two because there's so many different ingredients
Yeah.
of what I've seen.
Yeah.
Even coming back, seeing the kids in the third generation. So now I done built up a third generation that's turning 18 and all that stuff like that. So it's a beautiful situation. It was great to see you and your family too. So
Yo,
shout out. Hmm.
I loved it, man. And I know I've had you for an hour and a half. I'm not going to take up more of your time today, but I do. Next
Hmm.
time we get on, want to get into the politics side, and
Right.
not just you running for office and
Hmm.
that journey, but
Hmm.
also what you see in like street politics. What are you seeing with the black men in the Bay Area? What do you feel is needed? What do you feel, what I mean, is necessary for the next generation, that third generation that you're talking about, to be
Hmm.
the next funky chicken entrepreneurs or be the
Yeah.
next Rick Rock,
Hmm.
global celebrities. So I want
Hmm.
to get into that more with you next time. I did just want to like get a good foundation. I know everybody listening and watching, they were thoroughly entertained, informed, just a wealth of Bay Area knowledge, of entrepreneurial experience. And man, I do appreciate it. So I do. Last thing, I need actually two things. Number one,
Yes.
let everybody know
Hmm.
where they can come to the Funky Chicken, because I know it's some Bay Area heads listening that's like, yo,
Yeah.
the Funky Chicken, like, where is it? Just in case they don't know, where was the reopening at?
Well, the reopening was at Solano Town Center Mall here in Fairfield, California. Again, I just shut it down for a vacation, and I'm gonna
Yep.
reopen it. But you go online to Funky. There's a Funky Chicken dot store. So that's what it is. FON. I know you. FON. I took the
FON.
O.
Yeah.
I took the O from DJ Quick when he had his album out back in the days when Funky Chicken first opened. Way too funky, so he spelled it with an O. So that's where I got the O from.
Shout out to Quick.
So hip hop to hip hop on that one.
There
So
you go. There you go.
FONKY chicken. Email is at funky_chicken at yahoo.com. FONKY_chicken. And right
Okay.
now I'm just remodeling the website because again I've been locked up in the store with joy and love. And so I'm gonna open it up where it's gonna be universal. I got some nice pieces coming out. I got some nice designs coming out. Y'all get ready for my DSN. I'll let y'all know what that is down the line. So I got the DSN. I had the BL. I got the BLMs. I changed it to beautiful like me. So because we got here in Fairfield, the diversity is big because of the Travis Air Force Base. So we got different
I love
nationalities,
that.
and we got mixed kids, and some
Yeah.
of the mixed kids are confused. So we call it beautiful like me.
Beautiful
So, but
like
that's
me.
the
That is awesome.
yeah, yeah. So I
That is
got that coming
awesome.
out. Yeah, I have another thing. I have being in the Bay Area. We have I made it a Bay Area store because we're in between San Francisco and Sacramento, but Sacramento's not Bay Area. But where we in between here in
Yeah.
Fairfield.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of Bay Area items like y'all see this one. I call this one longitude latitude of the Yay area. See the Bay Area longitude latitude. It has Highway 37. I kept the Highway 37 on there, but I took all the codings out and I did it in area codes. So that's what that is,
Mm,
longitude, latitude with the area codes.
fire.
And then we have Pixar out here. So I took a Toy Story. I made a God story because we are his story. He loves us. So a lot of things I did. It's just some fun stuff. I got it for the kids. I got coming out with the hella area codes because you're from Northern California where you say hella. So that's what happens. So for the kids, we got Hecka. So we got the kids coming out with the Hecka too. So
It's funny
so
you say
again,
that because I don't wear this hat around
uh,
my kids because I
yeah,
know then they're gonna want to try to read it. I'm like, you ain't there yet. So
yeah,
they've
yeah.
never even seen this hat.
We used to get in trouble for saying Hecka though. Hey, but watch how God worked on that. God worked on me so bad. People, about five of them came in, not heavy, but it was. They said, I don't want to buy nothing that got hell in it. I was like, oh man, I didn't printed all this up. And now I got to throw it away because I'm a man of God.
Yeah.
I prayed, and God, brought me to the little Bible. He showed me the Hellia, like Hellia was a woman that was just, or down there with the devil, whatever, like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, oh wow. I said, what I'm gonna do? But he showed me a whole bunch of different names with Helen, all type of other stuff, with female names. I
Yep.
said, well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then I asked him, I said, so when I go back to the store, what I'm gonna tell the people? He told me, tell them to stop saying hello.
Oh,
That changed the game. Again,
that
I got
changed the game.
stories.
So I'm good. You saying
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good?
yeah. I'm good because you good because hello. We know what hello means. It
Right.
don't
We
mean no.
know.
Yeah, it means a
Yeah.
lot. Whatever we know what hello means. So I got a
Right.
design that says hello Bay Area. So it makes it fun, and
And
so I
that
always
is
get that confirmation.
yeah. I like
Don't
that.
don't feel bad. Pop your collars because we say hella. Don't. It is nothing wrong with it. That's what we doing. But we get the kids to heckle because they make them turn their shirt inside out here in Fairfield.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
know it.
That's a
So it's a
fact.
beautiful thing. But
That's good though, man. That's
mhm.
good. Yeah, yeah, that's huge.
So
That's something else we didn't get a chance to touch on
mhm,
was your designs. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Your influence. I know you were going to get the music. We talked
mhm,
about that some going, traveling back out to Oakland, but we didn't
mhm.
really get into the design. So anyway, as y'all can hear, we got a lot to talk about still.
We do.
We got a lot to talk about still.
In the close that part about what happened to the music, why did it close and reopen? See, that's the beauty of the whole story of the t-shirts, and that's what we're gonna come back to because I came back and opened up a clothing store, not a record store.
Right,
And
right.
so that's when I had the ideas and the designs in my head. And so that's the beauty of it. And the love is real. The love was just the support. I see my shirts and they send pictures back in China, overseas, Michigan. I see it all over because if you go to New York, you're gonna buy a New York shirt to say, you was in New York. When you come out the Bay, you're gonna buy that Yay area shirt, that hella.
You got
Because
to. You
you've been
got
to
to.
Bay.
Come
So
on.
that's what it's all
Represent where you
about
was
though.
at. Yeah, yeah. We got
Yeah. So
represent
so
your
that's
area, man.
so that's when we started though. So right
I,
now it's for clothing. Yep.
I
Hmm.
love it. I love it. We own
Hmm.
that. So last question. Now I know you're gonna
Hmm.
want to give me some level of a political answer on this. I need it to
Okay.
not be political. I need you to just spit out what comes
Hmm.
to your heart. The first thing
Yeah.
that comes to your mind is probably the first thing on your heart. I
Yeah.
need to know your top 5 rappers of all time.
Yeah. Top five rappers, man. That's right off the bat.
Right
I'm
off
a
the bat.
DJ. I'm a
Okay.
DJ, so it was more when you're a DJ, you listen to the beats. I never recited any lyrics. And so when I say back in
Okay,
the days, you
hold on.
uh-huh,
So I'm gonna take that. I hate to cut you
yeah.
off. I'm gonna take that. So
Mhm.
top 5 producers. Is that easier? Is that
Not
better?
really, not really.
Do you want to keep it
No,
at rappers?
yeah, because when you're a DJ, you're a historian.
There you
You
go.
mixing. We was doing high school dances and stuff like that.
Okay.
And for me, it's like that's really on that rappers category. But I could tell you the inspiration on me of DJing. It all came from New York. With and the turntables and all the different things.
Absolutely.
From my DJs was Will Smith DJ.
Jazzy
Fresh
Jeff.
that boy cut the turntables up. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
he
So I
cuts
was
different.
always, yeah. It didn't,
Yeah.
and then it was the gentleman from Houdini. I was going to the concerts, and just
Mm.
that's what I was more excited
Okay.
on. I think the most up, and again we're going back to where I was playing African Bambaato. We was b-boys before the lyrics.
Party people.
Yeah. We was the b-boys and all the different things. So I'm a
Facts.
historian of the music. It'd take a real uh, uh, people that really study the lyrics and stuff. But one of the lines I love the most, I have one of my lines was coming from the Bay Area, was like Too Shorts, that Freaky Tales. He would be like I
Oh.
took her name out my telephone book. Never again took a second look. It was just that pimp stuff, from that part like that. Ice T was another one. Ice T. I
Okay.
pick up lines. Ice T say my pants are sagging, braided hair, sucker stare, but I don't care. I used to love that
Yeah, I
stuff
remember
like
that.
that. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Slick.
so a lot of
Slick. You
yeah,
like that slick talk.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
my other line was Rakim. Rakim was fish, which is my favorite dish. You know what I'm saying? It was
Mm.
just Rakim was,
Without no
he
money,
said
it's still a
it's
wish.
still a
Yeah.
wish. He would say MC means to move the crowd. The reason why I love that, because that's how I became like a shirtologist. It's based on just
Ah.
some lines like that. People got to understand, when people put a football uniform on,
Yeah.
uh, it's like when officers put uniforms on, they get real cocky, but they really a regular human. When they did this little survey, when they go to San Quentin, they had the little college from Stanford. They one go in as a correctional officer, one go in as a convict, and once they put that uniform on, they get the tripping. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so and so in the music game, it's like football. Once they put that uniform on, they tripping. And so really, it's like you can watch a lot of great sports. You can have a favoritism on anything, but when it comes up to artists, it's just a certain thing. It's a certain thing to what caught my attention. Like in this art, it was never about Biggie and Pac. Because I tell you why I love Biggie. Biggie, to me was he was a lyricist, but Chubb Rock was like a
Mm.
Biggie. The difference of it was the producer, because
Yes.
P Diddy was listening to this Bay Area, not Bay Area. He's listening to California, which you had Dre in him, and Dre was coming out with that Watt sound, that L.A. sound. That's how that Juicy Fruit came out. See, these are the records I spent. We came. It was Parliament on this side, but not in New York, right?
Hold on.
And so
Shout out to Shaolin Sheldon, because he
yeah,
just got done saying that
uh,
the reason that Biggie blew up was because
uh,
he was rapping over the stuff we had already rapped over.
man, it was the funk,
He
baby. It
must
was
he
yeah,
Sheldon, you hit it on the head. My bad. My
man. I'm
bad. I
telling
didn't
you,
know. You hit it on the head.
yeah. It's because when you feel it in your soul, it's just that phone. It
Yeah.
was all a dream. It was the
Yeah. Yeah.
beat. So I get a shout out to P Diddy because I'm a D. It's the
Because
samples
Diddy
he
knew.
put on there.
Yep.
P Diddy put that. I mean, he made it. He made it a gig. He made it to. He made it mob. And
Yeah.
see, you put some of those remixes on Chubb Rock's. Chubb Rock was just like Biggie. Biggie pimped it, just straight up pimped it. But
Yeah.
Chubb Rock pimped. If you listen to that's what I'm saying. I didn't listen to Chubb Rock like that, but I'm just saying it was the New York beats that threw us off. If you didn't come from the beginning of the era, but the era is a little different. When I was hanging out there with them when Nas, when I was going to the clothing convention, I still didn't understand that. That Mob Deep had a dope ass beat too. I mean, they had some stuff. But when you came out this way, the people wouldn't understand the historian behind all that,
Yeah.
I just started watching the Wu-Tang. I grew up, I mean, when I had the record store, and started watching, like, man, you become a historian, you appreciate the music.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So when
start
you come
digging
out
into
with,
it.
yeah, when you come out about those lyrics, the first one I was just rapping on, man, it was, I met this girl, I'm listening to that Too Short, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna
Yeah.
say it, but that was here. But and for my era, it's more, the Rick James, it's more the old school stuff, the cameos and all that stuff. Those are the concerts I would go to.
Yeah.
When I know when people throw it out there, I see the list. I really do see the list, and I mean, and it works.
Yeah.
Of how they mix it all around because you really can't judge it. So I ask you the question: what's your top five?
It's funny. I was just about to say I had somebody on here and asking them their top five
Mm,
funk artists of all time, and Cameo
mm.
was in there. My top five. Oh, no one's ever switched it around on me. I'm gonna just throw out the first five names that I think of. Um, Eminem.
Dope, dope,
Eminem is like he's
he
these dang
dope,
near the goat to me.
dope.
You
Yeah,
said his name, Rakim,
yeah,
all day. The first rap
mhm.
scientist to me.
Man, yeah.
Um, Andre 3000,
Woo! I love
unorthodox,
how you in the different states. I love it. I love it, man. Yeah,
unorthodox, and just
yeah.
he's
Hmm.
just different. Black Thought of the Roots,
Oh man, heavy,
rhyme
heavy.
specialist.
Yes,
That's
yes,
just
yes.
what he did. And
Yeah.
I'm around number five off because I actually said the other day I don't think anybody has a more historic career,
Hmm.
including rap and afterwards. In this particular person, I'm around off
Hmm.
number five, Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah's hard. Queen
The
Latifah,
Queen
she changed the game. We lived it. I lived it.
we
Yeah,
changed the
man,
game.
changed the
No
game.
one has done what Queen is like. We were sitting there talking about. I'm like, hold on,
Hmm.
has
Hmm.
anybody? Because Queen
Put the theme. Hmm.
Shaolin Sheldon put Queen Latifah in his top five, and I'm like, yeah. And
Hmm.
I was like, hold on. Has
Hmm.
anybody had a better career? I mean, she's done
Hmm.
Broadway, movies, television, modeling, commercials, rap. I mean, who
But
else has
listen to
done
this
all that
though. She owned the record label. They did it. She invested in that when they first started. So
on the
she
label?
was she was hard. I mean, you got to look at it. For us and for you guys to say that at your age, we seen it come on MTV. It blew our mind. See, a lot of stuff was just blowing our mind. You
Yeah, yeah,
couldn't really, you couldn't really have it. And just like I say, I'm a lyricist. When Eminem speaks on, I'm gonna tell you everything bad about me, so you can't talk shit about me. That was his classic. You know,
classic,
and
classic.
then when Outkast, when they did the Christmas song, it was a Christmas song. That first little hit, it was a Christmas song, dude. That
It's
was it.
different.
But you got to look at it that from Babyface and all of them, Soldier Boy, he created something a whole new different era. He did that thing on MySpace. He had people buying it for $1. He was a multi-millionaire on $1 on
He did
MySpace.
as much as I
So,
used to diss Soldier Boy with his
yeah,
actual rap contribution on the
yeah.
business side. He
Whew,
he he
man.
he flipped it.
He did.
He
He
flipped it.
did. Yeah. So
Absolutely, man.
there's a lot out there. I could write things. I could look at someone, listen, and switch things around too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I appreciate that. Because everybody was in a different city, a different seat when things came out.
That's a
When
fact.
it comes to um, if you have to put it based on state to state and mix up like that, or it'd be kind of interesting to see it from there though,
Yeah.
because Nas ain't no joke either. Nas, man, the phenomenal things, and I really couldn't listen to Jay-Z until I listened to him. He put some words together,
Oh yeah,
you
especially
know.
young Jay Z.
Mm,
I mean, Jay Z
yeah,
is still nice. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, yeah,
reasonable doubt Jay Z.
yeah. Shoo, shoo,
It was just a
man,
different Jay.
that was a different day, yeah. And then he got that little New York in it. I mean, that's where they from, though. But
Yeah,
when it comes up to me, I was more of a party dude. The vapors, that
yeah,
Bismarck.
yeah.
Every little tag to it though. But
Rest in
I,
peace to Biz.
yeah, Biz. But every rapper from New York, man. I mean, I tell you like this. I tell you the biggest song that could be recited by old and new is Rapper's Delight.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
they could do that. That stuff was so funny, but it did what it did,
It did what it did.
but I'm telling on my age, but I I heard it. I heard it. I mean,
All good.
I heard all that, and you can't just keep mixing it up because you really have they arguing about that right now on Heavy D right now based on he didn't get his clout, so all
This is
that's on the
true.
media too. Yeah,
This is
Heavy
true.
D came out hard. Yeah.
Well, I know you talked about other, people being historians, but let me tell you,
Mm.
you are
Yes, sir.
definitely a Bay Area historian.
Yeah, yes, I am.
Undoubtedly.
Yes, yes,
Undoubtedly. If y'all
yeah.
want to know about the Yay area, you
Mm-hmm.
might want to sit down with Chauncey
Mm-hmm.
Banks and
They had to
just
come.
ask a few questions, throw out a few names, and see where the
Yeah,
conversation go.
yeah, because they had to come see me first, no matter what. And
Got
I
to.
get I get a shout out to all the funky chicken, the first batch. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Without you
sir.
all, man, I'm telling you, I wouldn't. And that'd be another story. Chance would have never ran for that mayor. Without you all, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And with the kids, you know what I'm saying? My funky chicken kids. So that's the beauty of it. I'm blessed. I'm highly blessed. I'm thankful, and I appreciate you. I
No,
appreciate you for everything what you did to open the doors for me. I've been moving around. I said I got to sit down, so
no
I
doubt. No
appreciate
doubt.
this.
We
So
appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you,
yeah.
my guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta end it by saying I'll say pod is good. You say all the
God is.
time. No,
Oh
you
man,
say
that's
all the
my.
time. And I'll say
you know.
I'll say all the time, and then you say pod is good. Pod is good. You got it?
All the time.
All right, so pod is good,
All the time.
and all the time.
God is good. Pod is good.
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take
Okay.
that because he is.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Ladies
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
gentlemen, this has been episode 15 of the Pod is Good
15.
podcast.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
guy, Chauncey Banks, the funky
Yeah.
chicken, a Bay Area legend, a Fairfield cornerstone.
Hmm.
You
The
know it. If
tri
you
the Tri Cities, the Fairfield, Suisun, Vacaville, and Travis Air
all
Force Base.
day.
When you run for that, it just crossed the railroad tracks. So love y'all tune in
And
to Pod is good. That's so powerful when I seen that.
there we go. And so we will get right into that next time and talk about Chauncey's voyage through politics. We will get
Mm-hmm.
deeper into him as a fashion designer and
Mm-hmm.
even go a little bit further of what's next for the funky chicken as it expands itself to wherever God wants to take it. With that being said, love y'all. Subscribe to the
Yes.
channel. If you in the Bay Area and it's reopened, go to the Funky Chicken. If not, go to funkychicken.store. Cop you some
Yeah.
some Bay Area gear, and
Yes.
we will catch y'all on the next one. My guy, I'll holler at you.
I love you.
Love
Pod
you
is
too, my
good.
man. Fine
Yes.
all the time.